Whoa, about ran over you guys. Welcome back to the channel. All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Glad to have you as always on another modification video. This one is going to be so awesome. We are finally showing some love to the tried and true 2019 Tacoma. You guys have seen get me from A to B on all of our hunting trips since 2019. And just to give you a little bit of a background, this video we're going to be taking a stock Tacoma, doing a 3-inch lift, wheels and tires, the whole 9 yards, showing you just how easy it is to take a daily driver and turn it up just a couple notches. Before we get to the goodies and exactly the bare bones of what we're working with today, I would like to give a huge shout out to the folks over at RealTruck.com, because without them and their team, we would not even be able to get this bad girl lifted up off the ground. And it's all thanks to them that the lift kit has been sent over. And also, Rocktrix Wheels out of California are going to put the cherry on top of this build. They have you absolutely covered from trucks, SUVs, ATVs, whatever. They've got the off-road wheel selection. They were nice enough to take us off of these stock limited Tacoma wheels and set us up with a set of the all-new, just released matte black R11.9s from Rocktrix. We're going to be the first Tacoma ever in the history of Rocktrix to have these on the truck setup. And last but not least, the folks over at Timbren up in Canada, Canada, they're going to set us up with a set of extended bump stops, because when you lift your truck up, you definitely want to make sure that you're covered from all angles, especially if you're on a nice, hard, washboard dirt road like this, or out of state hunting, or whatever the case is. If you're off-roading and you have a lifted truck, you want to make sure when you do bottom that thing out, whether you plan to or not, that you're going to protect your suspension and the expensive parts that you just installed on your project. So to give you guys a little bit of a background on exactly what we're doing to my 19 Sport, I've had this thing originally since 19. I'm the original owner, 69,000 miles, full-wheel drive. This thing has done a lot for me in the channel. Like I said, it's gotten me from A to B for almost every single hunting video that we've done out of state or in state, or anything that I'm doing in the truck. I've lived out of this thing in the spring turkey woods. I've traveled across America in it. It's been absolutely a dream to own. Of course, every Toyota is. I'm pretty biased there, but I really want to take this thing up a notch, and nothing crazy. I just wanted to do, a little bit of step above like your average spacer lift, just to give me that extra ground clearance. I wanted to upgrade the tires and the wheels from stock. I'm on just some stock Goodyears, some 2018 Tacoma limited wheels, and it's just time for a change, man. I've decided to keep this truck for the long run. I'm not going to trade it. I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep it and keep it going for you guys for the channel, and it's a perfect blank canvas to get this project up off the ground. Here she is, the tried and true 2019 TRD Sport Toyota Tacoma. Like I said, you guys are very familiar with it if you've been with the channel very long. Not a whole lot of modifications, but I'm going to walk you around the truck just to give you a quick overview of exactly the stock components that we're working with so far. So nothing really up front that's really going to shock you. We got some ditch lights from Rego. Got those stealth little mounts that are up under the hood there. We got a WeatherTech bug guard, nothing crazy, just wanted some extra lighting. Also went ahead and upgraded to LEDs in the front, the driver, the low, the high, and also the matching fogs down there, just to give it some uniformity. This is the stock set of wheels that we're rocking so far. This is your standard 2018 model Tacoma limited wheel. It's an 18, which this truck came stock with 17-inch wheels, which is fine, but I do want to upgrade to a tire that gives me a little bit more sidewall. So these are a Goodyear Wrangler, just a street tire, and a 265/60/18. So we're going to be jumping up to a 275/70/17, and I think the difference in the transformation and the ground clearance along with the lift kit is going to be really just shocking, just how different it is. All right, guys, had to get you on the GoPro to show you just, back here it's super tight, to show you the factory stock suspension on the Tacoma. But back here, you've got the leaf pack. There's no spacer, standard U-bolts, and the factory shock back here. All that is getting swapped out with the suspension kit from RealTruck. The 3 inches back here. So you've got 3 inches in the front, that's going to be getting swapped out, and you've got a 2-inch in the rear to achieve the actual leveled look. So you've got a factory rake, as you can see, so if you have a load back here, the back will move. Well, that's going to be taken out of the equation, and we're going to have a perfectly leveled and lifted truck at the end of the process. And as we get the wheel to full lock back here, I'll give you a little bit better peek of the factory suspension. You got the factory coilover the hollowed out factory upper control arm. Nothing special there. Factory ball bearing. Non-greasable, as you can see, non-greasable. You've got the factory bump stop back there. The blue sport tune suspension. Nothing crazy, nothing special. And then you've got the factory bump stop there that we're also going to be replacing. Thanks to Timbren. Those guys knew exactly what I was looking for when I reached out to them. One of those is these street tires, man. Absolutely great on road, but really nothing else. They're just really at the end of their life. Got a little bit of tread left, but we're going to end up putting these on Facebook Marketplace. All right, guys, there you have it. The bone stock Toyota Tacoma TRD Sport, the factory configuration. Honestly, it's not super bad. I loved it. It's gotten me to where I've been today as far as off-roading, going to hunt out of state. It's gotten me out of some sticky situations in Kansas, slid off the road somewhere. We won't show you that footage. But again, I think this truck could be massively, massively improved on and give it an updated, better ground clearance, better off-road traction with tires, some nicer looking wheels. So let's go ahead and go back to the shop. Let's check out these parts in some detail and see exactly how we're going to modify this Tacoma. And I can't wait to show you guys the before and after. It's going to be crazy. All right, guys, we're back at the shop giving you a quick look before we install these parts, exactly what we're doing on the Tacoma project. Now, you guys will see we unboxed the lift. We did get sent a RealTruck brand super lift in a 3-inch configuration for the project. Now, it's a combination of a preload spacer and a traditional spacer that you would see on the lower end of a lift. Instead of doing a full-blown coilover replacement. Longer U-bolts, 2-inch spacer block, and some stealth gray shocks to replace the struts in the back. Super cool, comprehensive lift, great instructions. I've looked at them already, and I've also made sure all the pieces are in the box down there, which is something you want to do as well. So as you guys can see, they get packaged and sent from Rocktrix out in California, and let me tell you, first off, these things are packed extremely, extremely well. They got a really nice thick box. You'll open up the box here, if I can get it open, and they've got a protective piece of cardboard that is an additional piece of packaging. Look at this, man. You already know the quality that you're getting. You've got a plastic protective bag here. Got a nice protective covering there. And this is something that they do the extra mile on. There is a lip protector on the front and back of these wheels that is like a plastic rim protection. That is super cool. And then also a cover over the front. And man, would you check that freaking out, man. This is the brand new design from Rocktrix. This is the RT119 design. Just a super clean, classic 8-spoke little wheel. It's kind of reminiscent of like a classic off-road wheel. It kind of looks like a Steely from off the way if you're looking at it from a distance. But this is a full-blown alloy upgraded wheel. It's got a very nice section here that will hold your bead together if you're going to be airing them down. You've got the Rocktrix cap there in the center cap, which they do also protect to keep debris and stuff off and scratches as shipping. But man, these wheels got shipped extremely fast, and I'm telling you, man, this is going to be such a sick upgrade to the truck out there. So as you see, we've got the truck out there. That's how it stands. You guys just saw it off-road. And this wheel right here is just going to be an absolute game changer when it comes to the final outlook and the before and after photos on the truck itself. So the final piece of the puzzle as far as assembling the parts and accessories that we're putting on the truck is we're waiting for the Timbren bump stops. They're getting shipped all the way from Timbren in Canada. So those may take a couple days to show up. I'm not sure. Estimated wait time is about Tuesday, I think.
A few moments later. Moments later. Moments later. More moments later. 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 Later.
All right, guys, and we're back after that short delay. And of course, these parts are coming all the way from Canada. So I'm going to show you just how easy it is to do the pre-assembly to the Timbren bump stop kit. Because when you lift your truck up, instead of having your suspension bottom out harshly on the stock smaller bump stops, you want a nice big cushion for those to land on so you're not out there thrashing your new suspension components. So let's go ahead and show you just how easy it is to get this pre-assembly. We're going to go ahead and throw the front bump stops on to replace the stock Tacoma ones that are quite puny, and you guys will see right here. All right, guys, so there you have the Timbren bump stop kits. We've got 3 different kits to show here. I'm going to link them all in the description below. But we got the front bump stops here, which you can see very similar to the Tacoma stocks. They have that little steel cup that they sit in. and then you have the raised, nicer Timbren material here. Now this nut is just a placeholder. Obviously the Tacoma has a steel nut that is welded to the inside, so all we'll do is add some blue Loctite and get these things hand tight, and then there's an Allen wrench, which is actually an 8mm, that we'll use to go ahead and snug these up. Moving on to the rear, we've got two different kits here to try. I'm hoping that the U-bolt flip kit will work in conjunction with the lift kit from RealTruck, but I'm not sure on the length of the U-bolts with the stacked 2-inch block back there. So just in case, the folks over at Timbren went ahead and sent us both. So this one is going to be more of a traditional style with a cradle. So these will go up under the existing U-bolts, or well, the extended U-bolts from the rear lift in the kit. That's option B. Option A is, like I mentioned, this is the U-bolt flip bracket. So these will go on top with the new perch assembled there, and then your flip Timbren there. So like I said, the flip kit is going to take your traditional U-bolts from this way and flip them under, and that's why they truly are a U-bolt instead of a squared off design. So these are going to go up in the axle and save your ground clearance, but like I said, it's going to be all up to if they work in conjunction with the lift. So that'll be interesting to see. I'm going to go ahead and get these pre-assembled. All right, guys, so here we go. This is the Timbren replacement for the factory bump stops, and we're going to head and install these before we get to the off-road shop. Just something simple you can do, even if you're going to be just doing the front of your Tacoma and maybe not the rear as well. But tonight we're going to be replacing the front factory bump stops. It's literally as simple as screwing this into an existing nut that is welded into the frame here. And we're going to add a little bit of blue Loctite just for security. You're going to need an 8mm Allen, and we're going to be taking these off with a oil filter wrench, just something cheap that I can get a hold of that old bump stop with. So let's get under the truck and we'll get this swapped out. All right, I hope you guys can somewhat see this. We are going to be righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So this is going to be lefty-loosey here. And hopefully we can get this to come out with not much persuasion. There we go. Just had to get the right angle on the old girl. Should be just hand tight now. There we go. Nothing crazy. A massive improvement on the bump stop. You're going to get a lot more cushion. The factory is just really just kind of sad there. So this has been on since 2019, a factory part, and this is the new and improved massive front bump stop from Timbren. So let's get this on there. Definitely not going to need this nut. Going to get us a little dab of fresh Loctite, and we will be in business. All right, I was worried about getting this up in there, but oh yeah, that's going to be very nice, yes. Give this old girl a crank or two, nothing wild. So we're going to be doing the exact opposite of what we were doing. Make sure to get the jowls way over hizzle. There we go. That was a lot easier. The second one was a lot nicer. Go ahead and hand twist these off. Not a whole lot of resistance, you can see there. Thing's spinning on its own. Really nice threads on this thing. The Allen head is going to be the absolute way on this deal. The new floor mats, these are some last fit, Amazon brand. They did okay, good placeholder, nothing really sticky on the bottom to hold them in. I never really understood this back section for my Tacoma, never truly fit the best. This little hump section kind of went up under the console, so not the best solution, but obviously RealTruck has sent out some of their weather beater by Husky Liners. Husky Liners been around forever. I had them in my first Jeep, my first vehicle of my whole life, and I loved them, and I was sad when they left. So they have sent out a brand new set of front and rear set of Husky Liners. Really, really nice, exact fit for your type of vehicle. And as you can see, it's a little bit misting rain here, but it's catching stuff already. And it's got a cool backer where it's going to hold itself to the carpet, and it's just going to be such a nice upgrade to the inside to match the outside. All the stuff that we've modded on the outside, going to make it just as nice on the inside. So let's get these installed. All right, so going in from the top side, going to make sure that this lays into the back here. So really nice fit. Yeah, that is so much better than the Last Fit brand that we had. You think with a name like Last Fit that it would fit great, but it obviously did not. So that is super nice. Let's go ahead and make sure that is absolutely beautiful. Just 10 out of 10 really for the fit. It goes around. This middle section never fit right, like I mentioned on the Last Fit brand. This brand here is incredible. Let's go ahead and do the front, and you can see this Last Fit here never really did line up correctly with this grommet on this side. So I don't know if they sent me out the wrong set, or maybe I ordered the wrong set, but whatever the case is, we are getting rid of this bad boy today. We'll go ahead and open up these weather beater here and give a little bit of comparison to exactly what we're working with. Just really blown away by the overall fitment. Yeah, okay, first off, these have better feet. They have the correct spacing for the Tacoma, where both grommets there will fit perfectly. And this is so much thicker of a material than the Last Fit. So I hope that shows up on video. Just overall, just the heft and feel of each mat is crazy, the difference. So let's go ahead and get this in there. Yeah, don't mind that little bit of grass in there, guys. Oh my goodness. It's almost like we vacuumed in here or something. Yeah, just a very, very tight fit, which is exactly what you want. Both grommets, just like I thought, line up perfectly. There's one and there's two. Guys, look at that. The fitment on these is incredible. Again, don't mind the mess back there. This is a daily driven vehicle and we hunt out of it. What a difference maker these mats are. Literally incredible. I love how the contours are perfect. No obstruction down there for the brake or the gas pedal. Nice place for your feet to rest, obviously for driving. Plenty of surface area to catch debris. I'm already catching debris, but what a great upgrade for either factory mats or, like in this case, the cheaper Amazon set. This is the way to go. I should have bought these first. And like I said earlier, you know, the Last Fit just never really did fit all the way. The grommet was completely missed. I think these were kind of a forced thing with this company. Maybe they didn't have access to a Tacoma before they tried to cut and measure and tried to decide. So, and there again, just the quality, the fitment, the thickness of the mat is literally everything you want to see. So Husky Liner weather beater for the 19 to 23 Tacoma is such a major and needed upgrade for really any project, whether you're just doing the inside or in this case a total vehicle makeover. Gosh, man, it is crazy what a better fitting floor mat will do to a vehicle. All right, guys, welcome back to the shop. We are here the night before we dropped the truck off to get all these parts installed, and I had a really cool surprise show up today, and just want to share this quick little audible that we backed up and punted on one of the pieces that we previously went over with. Now, we are doing the RealTruck, the Super Lift install, which is like a preload spacer. You guys saw the breakdown of that kit. Now, the upper control arms in that kit would definitely suffice on most everybody's build. Mine's not different in any way, but I wanted to team up with these guys just because of who they are and what they stand for. And as soon as I reached out and said, hey, This is the kind of Tacoma build we're doing for my page and channel. They were the first ones to be like, hey man, we want to be a part of this. We want to take, you know, just the upper control arms and stack it up to level 10. And once you see who we're with, man, now on this build, using everything from Super Lift, except we upgraded the UCAs on the Tacoma build to JBA Offroad. So if you guys haven't already, obviously, I'm wearing the merch here. You guys can see JBA Offroad. They sent a sweet patch hat. They completely hooked up the channel, and I'm going to dive into this box real quick and show you the parts we're going to be installing and just how different and just an advantage JBA Offroad really is. So guys, check them out. So first off, obviously the packaging is bar none, super nice, thick box, which these things arrived in perfect shape via UPS. Shout out UPS. But they went ahead and hooked it up with several stickers, decals for the rig. So we've got a color decal and then also the white outline decal. These will definitely be going on the Tacoma build. Got a full color patch here. JBA Offroad. Get this camera to focus for you. There you go. JBA Offroad. So we're going to slap that inside the Tacoma as well to match the hat. Just a really cool touch there with the full articulation. I love some swag, man. I'm a sucker for some swag. Now, this is a really cool touch, man. This is the lifetime warranty on the JBA upper control arm, and you have a 1-year warranty on the ball joints. Now, we're going to get to why that is special on this particular upper control arm in a minute, but then you get also a signed letter from the owner, the president, Mr. Marlon Geeman. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But Mr. Marlon, dude, just blown away by this. Really nice. You don't have to put this in all your boxes, but you guys do. And it's literally just the attention to detail. And then also, something cool, he's got a little witness card here that is like a DVD telling people about Christ, which I'm all about that too. I love this. This is such an amazing touch, and I love when companies do stuff like that. It literally just the next level of customer service and caring about people like that is literally incredible. That was such a nice touch. So we're going to go in here, and could you, gracious alive, believe how the pictures online do these zero justice. These are literally incredible, man. Like, look at the attention to detail on these upper control arms, man. These are literally insane how overbuilt these are. Now, there's a couple different models on their website. These are the heavy duty versions. You can see the gussets here covering up. You got two bushing, which are very specifically designed bushing to help grease escape between the mounts, and I'll show you that in a minute. You've got a grease fitting up here. Now, the reason we went with these instead of the ones from the Super Lift kit is because these upper control arm bushings are completely replaceable, and they are not going to mess with your camber, or I'm sorry, your caster, so you're not going to mess up your front end alignment if these ever do need replacing. 4 bolts, they give you torque specs and the manual in the box, and you can literally take these off in your driveway, and they're user serviceable UCAs. Now, these are incredibly thick. These are nuts on how just overbuilt. This is probably the nicest component that has ever been on the truck as far as the suspension. So I want to go ahead and get one of these bad boys out and just show you guys. Just look at the freaking beef of this upper control arm. Now, I know videos and pictures don't really do these justice. This is something you do need to see in person. But man, just let me tell you, just in person, these things are just incredibly overbuilt. Now, like I said, this is the HD version, so I mean, it's a pretty decent amount of money to jump up to these versus the regular arms that they sell, which would have been fine. But given the option, I love that we went ahead and went to the HD, just because why not, man? Look at how crazy the engineering is behind these. Now, you'll see these are already angled for a built-in caster. Now, that's great because it's going to be easy to get this alignment, hopefully, you know, in factory spec with these other parts and the wheels and the tire setups that we're going with. But man, dude, just an incredible piece of engineering, and I'm just in shock and awe of just how nice these are going to be. So you could, like I said, there's the replaceable bushing, the bearing in the UCA. And then also, like I mentioned, we'll flip this thing over very carefully. This is the very nice, cool, engineered bushing that has, let me see if I can get this camera to pick this up for you. Now, I don't know how good this is going to pick up on camera, but because black doesn't focus super great in the shot, but there is lines built into these bushings that will allow grease to escape in between the mounts. So when you slap this up inside your Tacoma and you grease these from the Zerk fitting there with the cap, you're going to be able to have grease disperse in a very, very uniform pattern. That way you're not going to tear up your stuff, guys. Something this expensive and this well built, you definitely want these to last a lifetime. So you're going to be able to service these yourself. Those are actually replaceable bushing as well. But man, look at, I mean, this is just literally incredible, this JBA upper control arm. Now, not only did JBA hook it, I mean, literally up, but they hooked it all the way up, especially for the installers tomorrow, the application for this. This is the recommended grease that they actually sell on the website, but you can find this. It's the Mobile brand. This is Mobile Grease XHP 222 Special. And the application for this, after I was looking at it, it says recommended for industrial applications where moly is desired. So this has that specific moly ingredient in it, which they do recommend. So you're going to be able to thoroughly grease the very nicely designed bushings, and then also the bearing, the actual arm bearing in here. And we are extremely proud to have them be a part of the channel, the build, the Tacoma, the Hunt Whip series. It's going to be awesome, and it's all thanks to the fine folks over at JBA Offroad for teaming up on this. Just cherry on top of this build is going to be so incredible. Actually, well, we kind of have a lot to catch you guys up on, so let's get you caught up. As you guys can see behind me, or maybe you can't see because of my big butt, the truck has been completed. There's the finished product, lifted, wheels, tires, all partners involved. It's been a crazy ride. I'm gonna tell you just a little bit of how we came to get right here. So without throwing anybody under the bus and explaining this the best way possible, I originally intended to be in the shop, be in the bays with these guys, not necessarily a how-to video, but showing you how the components get installed, maybe some tips and tricks, you know, kind of keep it moving in the video as the video progressed. So the truck gets pulled into the bay on the rack, money has been paid, tires have been bought and ordered, and then I get informed that I'm not going to be allowed to film in the shop with said Tacoma. Now, before you guys get mad, I'm not going to throw this shop name under the bus. They have done a lot of business with me. It's a local business here, and those guys are great. They did obviously a fantastic job with the Tacoma, and we're going to go over that with you here shortly. But due to insurance reasons and recent events that I guess have led to this policy, if you're not an employee, then you're not necessarily allowed to be in the bay with them and filming, and I totally respect that. Hey, it's not my business, and they were gracious enough to do the install for me, and so that's what we rolled with. Now, before we really dive into the truck and show you guys exactly how this turned out, I am blown away by how all the components in this truck performed. They worked together in unison. They really brought the whole thing together in a package. And without companies like RealTruck.com, Superlift, JBA Offroad, Rocktrix Wheels, none of this, absolutely none of this truck would have been changed without you guys. So just a huge shout out to the marketing teams, the guys and gals I've spoke with. This video is because of you, and this truck and the miles and the hunt trips that we're about to take on it is because of you guys. So seriously, thank you. All right, guys, the moment you've all been waiting for, the big reveal of the Tacoma, the Hunt Whip project, the complete absolute transformation of this thing is absolutely sick. I mean, what do you guys think, man? Drop me a comment. Let me know exactly what you guys think of the Tacoma build. I literally could not be any happier of how this thing turned out. I'll give you a bigger view here. I mean, the ground clearance, the stance, the attitude, just the drivability of this truck, everything has completely changed for the better. And you can see here the back view. Finally, my steel bumper doesn't look out of place. Finally, the camper shell really fits as well. Just, I mean, the overall build quality, the parts, how they work together. And man, let me tell you, these black RT 1119s from Rocktrix just absolutely tie this thing together, man. Look at the wheels. I just think they're the crown jewel of this build, also topped with the JBA control arms. I mean, we'll get into all that. So working our way from the front of the vehicle and exactly what was done, I'm going to dive up under the truck here for you, just to show you a little bit more detail of what has been done to the truck itself. Check out that more aggressive tread pattern of the Nitto Ridge Grappler. Just a really good tire choice for on and off-road performance. Here is a better look of some of the front suspension components. That is the front bump stop that you saw me install from the folks over at Timbren. And then other than that, we're using the factory coil over here with a spacer, like a preload spacer combo that we'll go ahead and show you from RealTruck. We'll get a better angle of that. There you go. Here is a much better angle of the preload spacer. So that was installed obviously on the top of the coilover, so you're really going to utilize the factory suspension, but yet you're going to preload the spacer, and that's what gives you the 3 inches there. And again, just blown absolutely away by the performance and the fitment of the JBA arms, JBA Offroad, the HD arms for the 19 and up Tacoma. Just literally incredible, giving us the amount of clearance we need. The caster built in. I'm going to show you the alignment sheet spec here in just a minute of how awesome these things kept our alignment straight. But without these arms, I truly do not think that this kit would have worked quite as well. The greasable fittings, the front, the ball joint, the bearing, the bushings in the back, the ease of how you can grease them, just super easy. The caps to protect them. I am just absolutely shocked, you know, no pun intended, on how the front turned out for us. And again, here's one more look at the all-new Rocktrix 119s. I think I mispronounced that at the beginning of the video, but Rocktrix 119s. This specific design just launched, I believe, as of this video, about a month and a half ago. This is, to the best of my knowledge, the first Tacoma ever with this exact wheel on, and we are just super, super stoked and proud to be repping them on the channel. Just a classic, clean look, and on the truck, it's even better. Like, you know, you did a great job picking a wheel out when you open the box, not even on a truck yet, and you're like, dude, this tire and wheel combo is going to be ridiculous. But yeah, just a classic 8-spoke look. It kind of gives you the vibe of like an old school steel wheel, but yet you get the performance of a full-blown alloy. And they've got it in gunmetal, and they've got it in the matte black, which the black to me just brings the whole truck together in the build. But could not be happier and prouder to be a part of the Rocktrix family and to be repping them on the channel and especially on the build. Here's the passenger side, guys. Just literally could not be happier with how this thing sits, runs, drives now. The steering, the folks over at JBA Offroad asked me how the steering was compatible with the kit and how it was installed. And yeah, I mean, total control. Nothing, no wobbling, no bouncing, no swaying of anything. Just absolutely rock solid. Just blown away by the quality of these UCAs and how they work in conjunction with the preload spacer and the lift there from RealTruck. Now, for the guys that are interested in just a quick view of the spec sheet of the alignment that was done, this was my truck before the alignment, which apparently I was outside of, you know, factory spec. Since 2019, I've never had this truck aligned, but yet I've never had tire issues, so it never popped up on my radar. But it's exactly what you need when you're dealing with a lift. These JBA Offroad arms have a fixed caster, so you really need a professional shop to do the alignment. But you can see here, just super pumped with how that turned out. And I can tell on the ride is incredible, and it's all due to this alignment here. Let's go ahead and dive in to the rear of the truck. This one wasn't as complicated after talking to the folks that installed it, but you guys will see here. We'll get this camera to focus easy. There is the rear block spacer from the Super Lift component, utilizing your same leaf pack back here, so nothing crazy. You're not having to do a huge investment of an all-new leaf system. So the rear block, and then something that we talked about previously in the build series is we weren't able to do the flip kit by Timbren. Unfortunately, the U-bolts weren't long enough with the 2-inch block, so we ended up having to use the rear bump by Timbren that actually just utilized the little saddle mount that goes under the U-bolt. So that's a factory replacement. You don't have to do anything crazy, but I am kind of sad the U-bolt flip didn't work. Unfortunately, it wasn't compatible for our application. So thankfully, the folks at Timbren sent out the bump stop that would work. And let me tell you, when this thing does hit a pothole or a bump, it is soaked all the way up by the Timbrens. They did just an absolutely incredible job just complementing the lift and working in conjunction together. These are the stealth shocks, the struts that replaced the factory ones. Those were probably shot from 2019, so a really cool. And I like that it's almost cement color like the truck. I know that's probably not how that was supposed to work out, but I do like how it's almost color matched to the truck. And there's a little bit better picture of the passenger side, the block, the replacement U-bolts, and then also the Timbren bump stop in the back. You guys are also going to see here how the RealTruck kit from Superlift, which they make a lot more expensive components and a lot more in-depth installs like coilovers and stuff like that, but this kit did include differential drops, skid spacers, stuff to make your driveline less crazy, because you are changing the angles of these things when you jack it up to 3 inches. 2.5 inches or higher on a Tacoma definitely messes with some driveline angles, so they got provisions in the kit to make sure that you're taken care of and are able to get aligned, as close to factory spec and retain that ride as much as possible. Guys, that's going to do it for the video. I could not be happier how this truck behind me turned out. We took a stock 2019 Toyota Tacoma that's been mine since it was new, and just completely stocked to something that rocks, man. I mean, just blown away by the transformation. It is amazing what even just a little bit of a lift, wheels and tires will do to the drivability, the ground clearance, just the way you feel about a vehicle and the way it handles for you. And again, just a huge shout out to the partners, JBA Offroad, RealTruck.com, Superlift, Rocktrix. Can't say Nitto because we bought those, but Nittos are great too. Guys, if you want to know any more information about that, I'm going to have all it linked down below. If you want to take your stock truck, whether it's a Tacoma, a Ford, a Chevy, whatever, if you want to take it from just mediocre stock to something that is going to be crazy on the roads and the trails, give you more ground clearance, more ability to get out there and get after it like we preach on the podcast and the channel. That's all I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the build series. The Tacoma is finished. I'm proud to say, and you may see it hitting the trail in the woods near you soon. So guys, as always, I appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.